अस्सलाम वालेकुम। ठीक ठाक अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह, आप कैसी हैं? ठीक ठीक है? ओहो! ओहो! अच्छा। हुँ, हुँ। अच्छा, 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 अच्छा। अच्छा, थैंक यू सो ठीक है, ठीक है। हुँ, 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 हुँ। जी, जी, जी। हुँ, हुँ। हुँ, हुँ। हुँ, 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 हुँ। हुँ, हुँ। अच्छा, ठीक है। अच्छा, बस ठीक है, मैं आपसे बात करता हूँ, मेरा अभी बिल्कुल 3 ओ क्लॉक ना एक वो लिंक्डइन लाइव शुरू हो रहा है। मैं आपको 4 ओ क्लॉक आपको कॉल करता हूँ, 4 ओ क्लॉक आपको ठीक है। डन, 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 डन। ठीक है। ओके, 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 ओके।
Is Shoaib joining in?
Shoaib is here already.
Oh, I can't see him. Oh, there he is.
So I'm playing a video now, and then I'll formally welcome all of you guys. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining a wonderful conversation. Please join me and welcome Ms. Sana Tariq, who is basically Chief Legal Officer in Mobilink Bank. Hi, Sana.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And with me, and please also welcome Mr. Shoaib, who is a seasoned HR leader, has worked already in a lot of companies, and he is the go-to person when we talk about HR practices, HR strategy, and understanding the human mindset. Welcome, Shoaib Saab.
Thank you very much, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk on your forum. And thank you for these nice words. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, I will start with a short story, and that story is basically so. One of our friend, Mohsen, he was supposed to be part of it, and because he's not feeling well, so he excused. Hopefully, he will be better, and then he will join the next session. I'm gonna share so what. So I put a question, so you guys can basically understand what is the result. We put like imply major mindset changes due to COVID. So we saw the biggest concern is the job security. Second is more now family focused. Uh, well-being, own well-being is a top priority. Freedom of work from home, career look forward. So interesting thought, I think. Sana and Shoaib, please collect your thoughts like while we working on excuse me some of the points. So I would like that you share your perspective that what people are saying and what you are saying about it. Okay. So any thought before I move forward? Shoaib Saab, very quick 1 minute reflection on this one.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I think it is as we have seen in other surveys also, and especially this job security and this financial well-being is becoming as on top of the agenda also. So we'll be talking
Mhm.
when we'll have further discussions on this.
Okay. And how about like career look forward is the lowest in priority for the people. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think that that's because of the pre-COVID or COVID times, because
Mhm.
mostly the employees are feeling that okay, once things get stabilized, now they are more worried about their current job. They are more worried
Uh-huh.
about their and in their current benefits.
Mhm.
So it is not on top priority. It's just they are in a mode के चलो जो चल रहा है वो तो चलता रहे.
Right. So now, any quick reflection from your side before I move to the story?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's been a massive shift of mindset. I think from being workaholics, some of us have decided to go for two and four and have a very moderate way of working. Of course, career is important, but so is family. If anything, COVID has raised many issues and discussions on mental health and prioritizing yourself, your health, your family, along with your career. So
Mhm.
I see a big change in strategies and mindsets.
Yep, great. So with that, I'm gonna. So thank you so much for all of you for putting the thoughts here. I'm gonna share a very interesting story with you. The story is about Spanish flu, and everybody remember like 1918 to till 2020, the world experienced the Spanish flu, where there were three major waves and quarter to one a third of death rate. That was huge, and the the pandemic was over, but it has long-term impact on humanity. As you have seen the numbers, the most of the people were going through the mental health challenges after many years of the COVID, of the pandemic. So this pandemic, which is COVID-19, sounds no different. And we can expect that the employees, the humans, all of the same people. So they can have a lot of challenges which are very important for organizations to understand. So with that, the same thing applies because companies are actually revising their business strategies. So business strategies will be delivered by the workforce. So if workforce is not the same as it used to be back 2019 and before, I think without understanding, it will not be a wise decision to implement the strategy. So today is the second session in the series. The first session we had last week, where we talked about why it is time to redefine your business strategy. today with the senior leaders we have, I would like their opinions and your input on how it's important that we understand the employee mindset. So this is about the narrative building. So before further going, let me put the first question to Miss Sana. Sana, the first question over to you is basically about, you can see the question on your screen as well. What are the key changes? And you can share your personal story as well, that how it is changing in your organization and within yourself. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Ali. I think that pre-COVID life was very different. We were very much into the rhythm of making money, going to work, very robotic. I joined Mobilink Bank. I actually shifted cities, and most women want to live on their own. I was living that dream. I went to Islamabad, was living alone, and then COVID happened. And suddenly, from being part of an organization where I was meeting people, I had to come back to Karachi, because somewhere in this 2 years we realized that it really is your mental health that is important. You need to be there for your family, you need to see your family, you need to be able to take care of them when they're not well. So I think this COVID has really changed our priorities in life. It's not just about making money, but it's also about being around your loved ones, and being happy mentally. So then obviously I moved back to Karachi. I was working from home. And the key thing for an organization that I have realized in my personal experience is that if the organization understands the employee empathetically, and really focuses on them, they go the extra mile. I mean, my
Mhm.
boss and my HR team just understood that I had to be back with my family to take care of my parents in COVID, and that has just totally changed my perspective, that this organization understands me as an individual. That helped me reflect for my team and for my fellow colleagues. So it has been it's been a personal journey of sorts to understand how to deliver strategy now at a very emotional level.
Yeah, so okay, that's a good perspective. So you see, like the company has supported you. You had to move back to Karachi, so they
Yes.
they supported, and that's the reason you're working more than it is required. Yeah. So
Absolutely. I mean, it's not
yeah.
easy working from home. You have to be extremely scheduled. But with that
Mhm.
commitment, you actually work more.
You yeah, carry on, Sana.
No, I was just saying that you actually have to schedule yourself.
Yep.
And being a female, you have to balance family, work, lots of things that, is unique to us. So experiencing that part of my life, I can now actually say that I'm spending a lot more constructive hours working, responding to emails, being more
Mhm.
mentally available than just being
Mhm.
physically present and just ticking the boxes, clocking in
Okay.
and clocking out.
Okay. Oh, great. So I'll come back to you, Sana, on this one again. Shoaib Saab, very crisp one. What are the mindset changes you see in the workforce pre-COVID, nowadays, and what you predict after the COVID? So mental health and these are already been discussed a lot. I wanted to know something new which hardly we talked, and you actually share your vision on that.
Yeah, I totally support what Sana has said. And yes, that's a very challenging. And I will build and context around it also once I will show my one or two slides also. So we'll talk about that. But here, what you have asked is the one thing which we have learned and which I personally have learned and observed is because without any supervision, you while you were working at home, the most important thing was the self-discipline. That how you
Mhm.
impose on yourself. replying to your emails, replying to your calls, and replying to your family interrupting, and all those challenges. So your sleep mode, your exercise time, your eating time, so everything which I think this has created. So once you are self-disciplined, and which I have learned, so I think this has helped me to lot during this whole of the time. So there's a mindset which I also see in the workforce also when I talk to my different people also, because they expect things to be done on time, or they expect things to be updated on time, or delivered on time, or as we were previously doing it. So this all happened because of this self-discipline. Second thing is the change in the skills and competence of the employees, because the skill set which we require before COVID or in a physical working was little bit different, not little bit, but quite much different than you're working from home. So that employees has to learn a lot. We used LinkedIn Learning. We use the few other online learning tools also for employees that help us. But especially these online tools, their learning and their usage was one of the skill set which employee has learned, and they came up very well. They responded very well. Yeah.
And what about so I talked to some of the people. So we talked two things: self-discipline and then the change in skill set. What we observed in certain workforce, that in the workforce work from home model, they focus more on their personal things rather on the other things. I'll give example of freelancing. So there are certain roles which actually demand full time as well, but people rather work for the organization. They also go for the unethical way, the Fiverr and the Upwork and those kind of things. So how do you see the ethics? Is it really shown now, or was it there already, or it will take time and it will be better? But that is a challenge with the work from home already there.
Yeah, you're right. When we talk about the self-discipline, means your self-character also comes in. And we have noticed this thing when we observe this thing. So in few organizations, when in a family or in friends, where people having their threats of losing a job, so they were trying here and there also, or they were saying. During COVID time, there was a large number of organizations which have not given any bonus or increments also. So people were looking around left. Yes, there was these things, but organizations like us, I think it was an ethical issue. We talked a lot on like E-Town we did, and we talked about this. So many software houses came up with those solutions, but in our organizations, I think we trusted our employees. It's a trust relation between an employee and the organization. So yeah, that was there, and it will continue like that. And it was there before also. People who are working for offices, they were using their time, playing in the stocks, or maybe doing some things on the weekends also. That will continue. So there's a basic sort of active and passive income also. So, but I think that's a very valid point, which employees has to notify, has to discuss with the HR if they are facing those challenges, or the line manager if these challenges with their teams.
Okay, so Sana, what are the change in mindset you foresee in the post-COVID world?
Change in mindset post-COVID world. I think it's going to take us some time to shake off this COVID impact. I don't think it's going to be that easy for us to bounce back, even though it's human nature for us to bounce back into our routine. But I think that this has impacted a lot of families, a lot of people, a lot of their elders, a lot of people that have been close to employees. So I think it will definitely take a little time to get back into the normal routine of getting back into the swing of 9 to 5, running to work, and only prioritizing work. So I think that it will be a slow change. Already, if you travel, if you go around, if you meet people, you can suddenly see, there's too much noise. You can't focus on too many conversations at the same time. Your body has changed. You have been isolated, you have been wearing a mask, you're breathing differently. So I think that the post COVID world will slowly but surely take some time to get back to, perhaps, or maybe never get back to how it used to be.
Maybe
Okay.
on the next level.
Next, after 100 years, hopefully,
Yeah.
not very soon. So,
Yeah.
so with that, okay, if so, to the participants, if you have any query, any point, please feel free to add in the chat box. Now, I'm moving to the second area. So we talked about what are the key changes human being will face after the COVID. Now let's move. How does it linked with organizational strategies and goals? So I would say that Shiv Saab, can you please start like how the change of mindset will impact the organizational productivity and growth? So whenever you need slides, I will throw it. So whenever you need slides, I'll just throw it there.
Yeah, I think if you put my slide first, so let me build the context around this one.
Okay.
So this is an interesting survey which has started 3-4 years back by Engage Consulting. One of my previous wonderful boss, Paul Kieser, had this organization also. So, but the important thing is that this survey has been done this year, so means after this all the hype of it. When we look at
Yeah.
the winners, so so there are organizations. There are two organizations on top again, Engro and Unilever, for which I have worked. Right. Then I know very closely about GSK because I was working with an with pharmaceutical and all that. And for Jazz, I think Sana can talk better also this one. The one thing normally as an employee, because we were seeing these organizations and Nestle is there, but I have not worked with them, but I know closely to them also. So what they have done is, so they're still on top. They're still leading work. Why? Because these organizations has during this whole time has treated their employees not as an employee but as a human, as a whole human, right? Means in terms of their well-being, not their well-being, but their family well-being, their immediate family, their house, their parents, if something happens to them. So these so their all other policies were those normal, the flexi hours and work from home and facilities and all. But overall, what I have seen is that the treatment to employees by these organizations was wonderful. And when you look at their shareholder value also during these COVID periods where a lot of organizations have lost their revenues and sales, so these organizations were growing. So they made good results. They have given a good output to their shareholders and to their employees also. So one thing that has been clear that to those organizations who go with who treat their employees as a human, as per their needs and the challenges, so they survive and they grow. The second thing is once once these things are done, means like if we talk of the engagement during this period. So this engagement was not an act. It was not a single act. It was a continuous effort, which were made by the HR, which were made by the leadership. So they were. So it is like an excellence that it is not an act. It's an habit. So an habit of a CHRO or the or the chiefs of the organization. So that helps these organizations to stand out or to help the employees to stick to them. I think this one is so that has created a trust, and that has created and what I say is a positive energy into the employees. That okay, we are going to stick with these organizations. These organizations during this period, other organizations have seen a big talent shift they have not seen such big challenges. Their attrition rates were quite under control. Sana can also comment on Jazz, but I know about Tango and Unilever also. So I think this mindset change helps a lot to the organization and to the people.
I
Sorry,
mean, I
not
like. Sorry.
okay, please continue. Sorry.
I like your terminology, Shoaib Saab. Rather than acting, we need to make it as a habit, because it is habit which defines that it is from the heart. It is
Yeah.
actually a narrative, not just a time pass. So, considering that your perspective came in like implies, when implies mindset is changed, so they want to be engaged more. They
Yeah.
want to be treated like human, not like robots. If actually organizations see from that perspective, I
Mhm.
think the productivity and the growth and the strategy implementation for the organizations will be quite easier.
Yeah.
Now, building on your point, Sana, now imagine an organization where the growth and everything is on decline. They are under pressure. They are not doing well. How do you think that they can be very flexible? They treat the employees as human. Shosab, I'll take your view on that as well. Once Sana will end up on that. Sana, over to you, please.
Sure, Ali, I think in an organization that is facing challenges and is not able to be as flexible with working hours, I think they just have to be honest. I think you
Mm-hmm.
have to treat, building on Shoaib's point, you have to treat your employees like a family. And it's
Mm-hmm.
okay to put your hands up and say, okay, guys, I need help. And
Mm-hmm.
this is now what the organization needs, because you see, you spend your maximum amount of brain cells hours of the day, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a home. It's not just your work, it's your
Mm-hmm.
life. So you
Mm-hmm.
must be honest with your employees and you must treat them like family members. Like Shoaib said, it's a constant interaction, communication. And that's what I've seen, as Mobilink Bank, and of course as sister concern and extended member of Jazz. There's constant communication from the top level also. So you'll see Amir, Ghazanfar, everybody interacting, talking, and that's how the buy-in comes. That's where the commitment comes. You're not just employee number 6345. You are somebody whom they know at a personal level. They'll talk to you, they'll make you understand, you can challenge, open to ideas. That's the only way you can help turn around an organization that might be struggling, to really, not sugarcoat it, and really put out the challenges.
I mean, I think it's a very positive point that if the organization is facing challenges, they need to be more transparent, so that
Yes.
because employees are fragile at the moment as well. They have actually more on emotional side, because some of their friends has lost a job, some of the
Yes.
family members are lost, so they actually now more empathetic side. So if, for example, organizations share with them, okay, these are our real challenges, I think that is where employee will still have the ownership to support them. Shoaib sir, would you like to add something in
Yeah,
that, please?
definitely very, very well explained by Sana and followed by your comments also. See, this has helped a lot. But now, the second I have seen an organization during this period, I still remember a period 18. If I take myself 18 months back, so
Mm-hmm.
at the time we were talking that okay, एक दो महीने अगर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ने बगैर काम के भी सैलरी दे दी तो हमने इतने साल उनके साथ भी है वर्क लॉन्ग विद दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन तो क्या फर्क पड़ जाएगा देन देयर कम्स एंड स्टेट बैंक का एक फाइनेंशियल सपोर्ट आ गई एंड वी कंटिन्यू लाइक but small businesses, and or those businesses who has faced the challenges during COVID period. So they started like this. They want to continue. They don't want to cut anything, but time it get longer. So then they to overcome, and the only thing was that they were very they were open, they were sharing things with the employees. The second thing would be to agar if they have option to focus on that is that making employees to learn new skills which are required. There are few businesses who survived because of they change their scope, they change their way of work, they change their things. So if we have, if at that time, if HR or the leadership has done an investment on employees in terms of making them to learn new skills, that might have helped. So that's my.
Yep, and I see. Last in the last session, we were talking about why it is important to revise your business strategy, and one of the very strong point came in from the respectable panelist that it's a new world now. If we do not disrupt now, we will be obsolete. The companies,
Yes.
I'll give you an example of the clothing companies in Pakistan. They used to say that okay, digital will not stay. In the digital, we're just putting our presence. That's it. Because in Pakistan, everybody want to come to the big stores, want to touch the cloth, and then they buy it. That was like the CEOs were very clear from many clothing organizations. But once COVID came in, now instead of only branding, they started to having sales on that. Now in 2022, they're not going back in 2019. So they need to revise the strategy. How much part is the physical store and how much part is the digital? So this is a very strong statement that companies will get obsolete if they do not revise strategy, if they do not disrupt, if they not get ready for the future fit. And once we talk about organization, organizations include people. So if they do not train their employees well, they do not upskill them well, I think both of the parties will not be able to flourish in a way that the country demands and the way business demands.
Yeah, exactly, Ali. I just want to add that there were two skills which I have seen, and I've gone through that. It was difficult to find the right resources for that. Two skills. One is the data sciences and analytics, and second was the digital marketing. So these were the
Uh-huh.
two new skills which have saved the businesses, and
Yes.
which have grown up, and people are getting good money than before. So yes, you're right. It is the change in this the
Yep.
skills.
So we got a question from I'm just showing it here as Mr. Buli Shahid. So he has a question: how do you see the impact of COVID on sales team, which remained in action in worst situations even? So what will happen afterwards? Shursa, you would like to add something on that?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I look at how do you see the impact of COVID on sales team, which remained in action in the worst situation even. I think Boli has asked the right question. So I think it is a sales team which saved us. Means these were the
Mm-hmm.
people who were facing the customers, who were in the field, who were managing there and implementing 100% SOPs on them. Also, I will talk about the pharmaceutical where our medical reps were trying to visit the doctors, and doctors were sitting in those cabins and at a distance and all these things. I think these salespeople have done remarkable jobs for the organization, and yes, and I think the future is bright for them also. I mean, they will continue like this, but they have to come up with new initiatives and new ideas also, that how to make it and more effective in these. I am sure they have learned a lot, because we have heard a lot from our field employees that what different things they tried during these things, and those were very very encouraging for us too.
And yep. And Sana, would you like to add something here? Of course, I know you're not from legal, but I would just sorry, from sales. But I just wanted to get an opinion from your side on that. Uh, Sana, can you hear me?
My, can you still hear me?
Yep. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that actually it's because of all the sales teams that we have our jobs, and it's because of the
So,
sales
so let's give a
that we could
big round of
experience
applause.
going back home.
Let's give a big round of applause for sales
I
team.
mean, all
Okay.
they put their, they put their families, everybody at risk. They're the reasons we got our salaries. So really, honestly, it's a big shout out to all the sales team, from the people that I've worked with and otherwise listening. It's because of you guys that we were able to go home and be with our families, and to kind of feel normal about this whole situation. So a big thank you to you. And I think you guys have faced the worst part, the toughest, and seen it really truly in human form, going to these families, recovering, making sure that you meet your targets in the toughest of situations. So hats off to you guys. And
Yeah.
I think that COVID obviously will have impact, but I think you guys will bounce back
So
quickest.
great. So Bu Ali, with the experience, I would suggest, and Shoaib and Sana, if you feel to give input on that, please feel free. See, now the sales team need to think about creating a balance as well, because that was a tough time. You were on ground, everybody else was virtual, you were physical. Yeah, but I think now 2022 onwards, you need to change your dimension as well. You need to create a balance, because, and I can suggest you, like, you go, like, how to present virtually. That's the latest book we just released. A company called Duarte, they just released yesterday. I think you need to adopt that certain level of engagement with clients. You can have it virtually, and then certain part physically, because we didn't allow you, because there was so much pressure on sales to generate the sales. Sales team didn't learn on, like, for example, how to balance, because they were focusing, stretching themselves to get the things done. CEOs, the sales director, marketing director, they were just not allowing you to learn new things. My suggestion would be, go now and create a balance, a family like balance, work from home and work in the market. And trust me, if you start believing that certain part of your job can go virtual, please do it. That's my suggestion to the sales team for the future. Hope it makes sense. If you feel any difference, please feel free. Okay, so another question came in before I move to the third one. Okay, so how are the organization managing the mindset in terms of psychology and well-being of the employees? So, Sana, any thoughts on that one?
So I can just talk from personal experience, Ali. My organization keeps in touch. So my HR head, Samiha, gives us a call just for a general chit chat, just
I'll
to
pass
ask
your
how
message.
you
I'll
doing.
pass your message to Samiha.
No, I mean, this is genuine. This is something that I have experienced firsthand, just to understand how are you doing, how's everything working out, do you need anything, do you need any support? These are things that we haven't experienced in the past. Just to
Mhm.
check in, just to call up and say, how's it going? No work, no KPI discussion, nothing. So
Mhm.
it's very important for everyone to interact as human beings, and to
Mhm.
just check in and
Mhm.
support each other without always having an agenda to talk about. So I
Mhm.
think it's really really important for organizations to internalize and
Mhm.
also have these kind of discussions. And of course,
Okay.
lack of social interactions is very difficult,
Okay.
but phone call, video calls.
Yeah, exactly,
Okay.
exactly. If you see, Yasir, it's a very relevant question. So people have started managing very well the marriages on Zooms. So people sitting, the relatives sitting across the globe, they are joining those things. So same way, I will share my three experiences. The one is the birthday parties. We started doing it Zoom, so everybody was joining from it, right? So the employee whose birthday was there, and if he's at home, we make sure to deliver a cake at his home, and we ask him to
Mhm.
come on home and his all other partners. So one thing we did that. Second thing was the e-town. So we continue people talking. So people who are in field at their homes. So our CEO and our leadership team, they were always in dialogue with them, sharing the business results. Also, not always hal chal pooch rahe and all these. That's all right. But talk about the business because they are here to do certain jobs. So
Yep.
we continue sharing our business outcomes, our monthly reviews. One of the things that we're doing before COVID was our monthly core values stand-in meeting. In every department, so people have to gather for a 15-minute stand-in meeting. That was discontinued. But then we restarted people sitting at home, so on the Zoom. So we started the same thing with them. Okay. So see, so there are things. So these limitations has helped us to a lot to continue building on good practices. Yeah.
Yep, and addition to what you're saying, I think it's a very valid point. I would like to add in here, the companies need to rebuild the environment of physical
Yeah.
interactions. So, for example, rather than straight away like going to office, I think team building where you actually, casual conversation, because that's where dopamine, oxytocin, these hormones actually evolve. It doesn't evolve in the office. So have outside dinners, have outside team building, go to Murray, go to Nathiakali. So I think these kind of things will help to build the social network again. And then the work is not a problem once, because we see somewhere if employees are engaged properly, their productivity increased by 77%. That's a big number. That's a big number. So I'm moving to the third question, but before that, Mohsen, who is actually not well, but I wanted to make his presence to the team. Mohsen, prayers for your recovery, inshallah. So Mohsen has put one point here. So somebody from HR need to explain, and I think Sana and me will step back and will give opportunity to Shoaib to echo what Mohsen is saying.
Okay. Thank you, Mohsen, for this. One mindset which is evidently evolving is existential. Why and what about the life and human relationships, right? So organizations have to work around it and bring out the corporate soul. Yeah, very well. We,
Yes.
we have talked about this one. So these human relations are always important, and it will continue as an important. And the only is the media and mode is changed. Instead of too much
Right.
physical or everything physical, it is going online. It is going on video base. It is going on chat boxes and all these things. And yes, now the things are being changed. The circumstances are being changed. So I think we will find more opportunities for an for the building of these relationships. Mohsin, I'm sorry if I missed some of the points from it.
Yeah, so great. So now I'm moving to the last question, which is very much important for the organizations to take actions. So, what organization? I think some part of it we already answered as part of the conversation. So, to understand the employee mindset, what are the steps organizations should take? Like I'll build where I started, that bringing them offline, team dinners, and team buildings where you feel like it's a casual environment. I think there you can have more conversation built on that. So that's my input. Now the next point, I think I'll leave it to Sana. Sana, what is your take? How organizations should do it?
I mean, it differs from organization to organization. At the end of the day, you have to deliver your KPIs.
Yep.
You have to, be available. You have to meet your targets. Those things you cannot compromise on. But yes, the human factor has been amplified, and the trust with the employees. You can't micromanage perhaps as you used to. So, like Shoaib said, the mode has changed, but the people behind are the same people. So the expectation is still the same. You have to deliver. You have to upskill yourself. You have to invest in yourself. You have to make sure that you are scheduled and you deliver your deliverables. And also the trust factor has increased. You have to delegate a lot more to, and trust that it will be done. And I expect that actually based on this trust, the reward is a lot more. So I think these are some of the best practices that I would be going into the next couple of years. A lot more trust, a lot more responsibility, a lot more expectation, a lot more change. But I think the resilience that I would expect and we would expect as an organization should be the same pre-post COVID.
So, Shoaib sir, practical question: what are the steps organization should take? The clear
Yeah,
actions I want to know.
exactly. The same question has been asked, or rather, a similar thing is I took part in that survey. That was the Gartner survey.
Okay,
If I
you
request
want
you
me to display the sheet?
yeah, yeah, please. So it talks about it. It has asked the question to all the chief HR officers around the world. So top
Mm-hmm.
priority for the HR leaders in 2022. So means, and again, what Sana has spoken and what you mentioned. If you see the five areas, the one is the upgradation of the skills and competencies, new skills, new required skills. So it's not role based now; it's the skill based people who will flourish in the organization, who will have more skills. We'll not talk roles. We will talking about the skill positions using. Second is again the OD and the change management. Third is the leadership bench. The one thing which has changed in this leadership bench is now the more focus will be on the middle management. Previously, it was more on the next line leadership, but this time has shown that okay, so you have that leadership benches uh, deep in the organization also. Fourth was the future of work. 42% chief HRs think that the future of work will be different. It will be challenging. It will be more demanding, or it will not be before that. So there were a few things we took on that. But the fifth thing is the diversity, equity, and inclusion remains the same. So the things is changed. I think the approach is changed. But the priorities for HR and the priorities for people development remains same, and it will continue like that.
Okay, so again, when we talk about disruption, we recently talked, like I referred the conversation from the previous session when I said
Yeah,
like company need to revise the strategies, and first new strategies they need new skill set. So that
yeah,
is linked here as well, that
yeah,
HR need to focus more on skill set and competency. Now,
yeah.
Shiva, building on that skill set and competency,
Mm,
I understand that the talent management has gone global as well. Sitting in
yeah,
Pakistan, you do not need visa. You can apply anywhere. You get a job. And the likewise, and I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like everybody. Okay, you're smiling. So, okay. So the same is the case for the employers as well. So employers has a freedom that they can reach out anybody in the world. So it's a competitive environment now, more both for employee and the employer. So
yeah,
when it is competitive environment, it means that employer need to learn more, employer need to upskill more. But we used to learn physical offices, but now most of things are Udemy, Coursera, LinkedIn learning. How do you see that? Are we future fit from the learning ready, the learning perspective? What do you think about it?
yeah. It's always a challenge. I think when we were in a normal phase of life, it was always a challenge to bring and attract, bring the people into the classroom. And now
Mhm.
during this COVID, the challenge was that how people complete their courses online. So what HR should
Uh-huh.
do, how we make sure it. So what we have done
Mhm.
in that okay, we have not left that okay, this is online, this is a link, so you can do it. No, we planned it
Mhm.
like we were doing it before.
Uh-huh.
And we allocate the time, we allocate the resources to them, and then people who were at home, we said that lunch will also be served by from the
Oh.
doing from that way. So just to make it
Mhm.
more interesting. So, and then we started those collaboration sessions at the end of those learning. So people have to share back and people have to deliver those things. So yes, it was challenge initially, but now people have people have realized that it is of much better quality also. The material
Mhm.
available on Udemy or LinkedIn, those training are much effective than the usual training things also, which I have seen in few cases, and in few cases that
I
was there.
think one of the
Hmm.
interesting takeaway you just shared, like it is again hybrid. It's a hybrid model you're trying to
Yeah.
implement because this is something everybody say. We were just talking about the office, the working hours, the work of
Hmm.
the future of work. We saw like initially it used to be 5 days in office, then it was 0 days in office. So what will happen in 2022? Of course, it cannot be 0 days in office.
Yeah.
It will be somewhere hybrid. Two
Yeah.
days maybe in office, 3 days work from home. So
50,
because
50,
that is
57 days.
why you will keep building your ownership with the company. At the
Hmm.
same time, you will actually have the productivity as well. And honestly, since last year we implemented in AIM Consulting the same model, one thing we noticed, I am not feeling well. The typical leave was became zero. And then we did the interview with the team and we got to know the basically the I'm not feeling well today was because of the physical fatigue. Every day you wake up at 6:30, you're fine with the work, but get ready, make up, and dress up and coming to office. So that was a fatigue, not a work fatigue, this physical fatigue. Once we remove that one, everybody is sitting on their bed and they're just working till whatever time they find. So I think that is the way their productivity increased, and that freshness was there. It was not like tired, every day tired. So that is something we learned from our organization as well. So with that, I would say, before I get the input from Sana, I will move to the last part of the conversation, which is the questions to the audience. That is, what is one takeaway? Honestly, I learned a lot from the conversation from Shoaib and Sana, and one Mohsen shared, and again the question shared by the sales team, because it's a two-way learning. So we are learning from each other. I would request that what is one takeaway, if you would like to share, please put in the comments box, so that others can take advantage out of it as well. And meanwhile, Sana, you can put your thoughts on again the methods, the clear methods. What is organization supposed to do now to understand employee mindset? Do they need to do one-to-one session? What they should do now?
I think the organizations need and talk to their employees. And of course, like you said, a hybrid model going forward is perhaps the most preferred way. And
Mhm.
see what invokes excitement and commitment for the employee to help deliver the strategy, because at the end
Mhm.
of the day you have to deliver for your shareholder, you have to bring in all the things, but for that you need to have the employees commit, whether it's coming to work, whether it's staying home, whether it's a hybrid model. It will differ from organization to organization. And I think the employees also have a duty of care to put their hands up and say, hey, I need help. And I think that in this 1 year, this is what I would really appreciate from my organization. Very often I think we as employees also toughen up so much, and put on a tough face. Oh, we'll be there, we'll be sick, but our commitment is there, and we'll just show up. I think that needs to change. I think it's important that us as employees should be able to put our hands up and say, okay, we need a moment here. Can we do this differently? Can we do this differently? Because at the end of the day, it's about delivering your strategy. It is about bringing in the value for your shareholder. So you have to keep that in mind, and always remember the human factor.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a great input. So with that, I think it's the last part of the session. So I think we will announce the third part of our session, which will be next week, the same time. That's a series, the same series. Why strategy embedding is important. Why? So this point we talk today is understanding the employee mindset. So next week we'll be talking more about on the third idea, that if we want to embed the strategy to imply to workforce, how it will benefit to the organization. So there's a Thursday, same time, and the same LinkedIn live, and please do register for that event. And with that, I would like to conclude today's session with the thank you to Shoaib and Sana. If you want to add any last comment, I just we still have 10 minutes. If you want to have one last comment on that, and then we will close the session.
Okay, so I will take that 1 minute. I think during this whole period, the one thing which we did was in listening and empathizing with the employees. So we did a lot of listening. We do empathizing. Okay, we understand all that. But now it's time to have some meaningful actions also.
Mm-hmm.
So that the continuous process that I think as an HR leaders and the organization has to they must be doing it, but meaningful actions for employees and for their engagement and for their development and for their workplace challenges has to be taken. That's my input. Thank you.
So you mean like earlier we were at survival mode, yeah? Now we need to take the next step towards growth stage. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sana, a very valid point, that the companies can only grow now if the people grow. And people only grow when we give an opportunity to learn more, to engage more. That's amazing perspective. Yes, Sana, please.
And also, just to add to what Shoaib just said, I think also important not to be scared of change. I think that's the one thing seen, that we have reacted to different things in the last 2 years, and that's just a phenomenon that we've seen as human beings, that we can react and retaliate and come back stronger. So as Shoaib said, now we're recovering. We've seen the worst. Inshallah, we're going towards positive, healthier places and everything. But we shouldn't be afraid of more change coming. There will be lots of change. There'll be lots of things which will be uncomfortable. But we have to trust that we are going to bounce back, and we will act responsibly and deliver, and we will not give up. So don't be afraid of change. Embrace change, because that's the only constant.
Yep. And yes, correct. And my last input is, everybody suffered from COVID because we were not ready. Post-COVID world will be a new world as well, and we will only suffer if we are not ready. So now we have time that we get ready for the new world. Those are the people who are thinking that 2022 will be going back to 2019. I think they are living in cuckoo's land. It is a new world, and please, we need to get ready, and that's the way we can perform better, not similar to how we perform in the COVID. That's the last input from our side. Very happy and very a productive conversation. Really enjoyed, and somebody was saying, oh, it will be 40-minute session, 35-minute session, and I said, I'll tell you, because Shoaib knows that we are a research-based company. We put a lot of efforts on inclusivity. So you see a lot of questions and a lot of examples, and I thoroughly enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed as well with your contribution. Again, this is our contribution to humanity, to the business world. Be very happy. I think we have done our part. This video will be available soon, Ji. So please, recording. Everybody will love to keep recording. You know that, and it's hardly to watch the recording, but we'll still kill that craving and we'll provide them the recording. Thank you so much, Sana. Thank you so much, Shoaib Saab. And all the audience, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, and we'll look forward to see you, inshallah, next time. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Thank you. Thank you.